The number one thing that I cannot stand is a thief. Like that's probably my biggest pet peeve. And let me just say this. I want to be clear on this right away. It doesn't matter what type of business you're in, what industry you're in, what niche you're in, if you're in this space. As you begin to grow your company, as you grow your business, as you expand, as you set goals and milestones, and you start to reach those things, and you start to peak and climb to higher heights, what that looks like is it looks like growth. And within growth, there are going to be growing pains. One of the growing pains that I promise you will come across is someone is going to steal from you, from your company, from one of your clients at some point, at one point or another, someone is going to steal. This much I can promise. The exception to that is if you are hiring only family members that you know and trust, or if your goals are, if you're just going to stay small, if you're going to stay relatively small, you don't have to worry about that. But if you want to reach, 10,000 a month, 11, 12, 13, if you want to get into the, six figures, multiple six figures, seven figures, I promise you're going to run across someone who's going to steal from you. Now, that's nothing to be afraid of, right? Because it's going to happen. There's safety nets, there's checks and balances, there are things that you put into place to make sure that you're covered, right? Whether that looks like insurance, whether that looks like a bond. There's ways that you can be covered. Okay, so I don't want you to be. Don't let it scare you. Don't let that scare you. I'm just telling you that is going to happen. But I mentioned insurance and bonds. But there's one other thing that, we don't really talk about that much. There, something that's more powerful, some coverage that's more powerful than any insurance, than any bond, than anything else out there. And that is the power of the rapport that you have with the actual business owner. Okay. That can save you more times than not. If you have a good relationship with the people who you're going in and you're serving, there's nothing that no staff can do that can stop that can shake that can break that relationship, because the business owner knows that it's not you. The business owner they know they've hired people who've stolen before too, right? So they understand having a good relationship is always key, right? So that's number one, right? But just know that you're going to encounter thieves. Knowing that you will encounter thieves, to me, it has always been, um, if I got to deal with thieves, I would prefer to deal with the intentional thief. I would prefer to deal with the intentional thief versus the passive thief, because the intentional thief, you catch them, that's a quick fix, they're up out of there. The passive thief, it takes you a little bit longer and it's a lot more damage. It's a lot more damaging. But regardless as to what type of thief it is, if you have a good rapport with a customer, you can always bounce back. So about maybe like 2 years ago, I don't remember exactly when it was. It was a couple years ago. I had hired a mother and a son to come and take over a certain region in a city that we're doing pretty well in. We're doing okay in at that time, but we're doing really well in it now. And I'd hired them to come in, and I had this vision in my mind that I was going to build this super team, and they were going to be more so of the guinea pigs, I guess, to see if it could work. I needed good staff, and I wanted to try this idea out. So I hired this mother and son team. Now, some people, they're going to say, why would you hire a son and a mom? Why would you do that? Why do you hire two people that know each other? And I'm going to say this: hiring two people that know each other, whether it's a son and a mom, a husband and a wife, brother or sister, doesn't matter. Hiring two people who know each other, it definitely comes with their pros and their cons. I made a video about that a while ago. I had go ahead and link that up top. But it definitely comes with its pros and its cons. And even though now we're in a position where we're not hiring W-4 workers like that anymore. We mainly use subcontractors. Even though we're in that position, if I were to ever go back to hiring W-4 workers, I most definitely would. I would most definitely would go back to hiring people in pairs. It just works better for us, and I have my own reasons as to why I choose to do it that way. But anyways, I hire this mom and this son, and they come out day one. This is what day one looks like, right? If you're new coming into our company, this was what day one looks like. If you're a W-4 worker, you show up on time. We'll get you into the building. We will give you a quick tour of the building. We will get you all the supplies you need. And from that point, we are going to give you, an assignment to do. Now, in this particular case, the assignment was for you to do a certain set of tasks. And I wanted those tasks to be done in a specific order, and it shouldn't take all night. So there was a time limit on the task that needed to get done. Now, the time limit that was set on the task that needed to get done, it was a reasonable time for people who are brand new. Not brand new to cleaning, according to them, but brand new to this account and brand new to our company. So there's a time limit. So I let them do their thing. Now, here's the other thing. There will always be a supervisor there while you are training. So if you're the owner, either that's going to be you or someone you delegate to be over the new staff while they're training, especially on their first night. So that night, it just happened to be me. And I'm there, and we're about maybe 45 minutes in, and the son, it's supposed to be in one section, but I see him backpedaling away from the section he was in, real like suspicious, right? And he's backing away into another area. Now, at this point, we had this account for maybe 3 or 4, maybe for like 5 years. We had that account for a decent amount of time. I know this account inside and out. This is a medical office, medical building. And if you're familiar with medical settings, a lot of the times you'll look up at the end of a hallway, you'll look up where it meets another hallway, and there'll be like a mirror, and you can look at that mirror, and depending on where you're at or how it's angled, you can look down and see everything down the opposite hallway. So from there, I'm looking through the mirror and I see him backpedaling away. He doesn't see me see him backpedaling away. So instead of me going the way where he's backpedaling from, I go and circle around the way to where he's backpedaling to. I know there's nothing but operation rooms down that hallway where he's backpedaling to. So I make my way over there, and I hear like some stuff going on. He's like it sounds like drawers being opened and closed. Okay. So I hear him, and I peek around the corner. He doesn't see me. And I see it looks like he's putting things in his pockets. This is the operation room. Unless you are in the medical field, all of that stuff is useless. What are you going to do with it? Getting those things that people check their reflexes with, that serves you no purpose. Like it's not worth anything. But he's putting things in his pocket, and it appears he's putting things in his pocket. So I'm like, hey, what are you doing? And it kind of scared him. He looks up, he turns around. Oh, yeah, man, I thought I left something over here. Remember when I was telling at the beginning, I give you a tour, I give you a specific set of instructions, and I give you an order on how things are supposed to get done. And none of the things that I gave him should have ever led him to this room. He never should have been in here, right? This wasn't a room that cleaners aren't supposed to be in. It just wasn't his time to be in there. So he never should have left anything in there, because he never should have been there. But aside from that, like, he's telling me, oh yeah, man, I thought I left something. He's turning around. As he's turning around, I see something in his pocket, but more important than what I see in his pocket, it's what's hanging out of his pocket and behind his shirt. So he lifted up his shirt, he stuffed his stuff in, and he's kind of put it over, but I scared him and he turned around. He doesn't know that I now see that his shirt is halfway behind the item that he was stealing. So I'm like, hey, what's that in your pocket? And he looks, and now he sees that his shirt is behind his pocket, and I can clearly see that he was taking instruments from out of his drawer. So, oh man, I'm uh, comes up with something, takes it out of his pocket, puts it on the counter. Kind of get mad, like, what do you mean? You know. So then I walked him out. He had to go. He didn't have any keys. He didn't have any alarm codes. He didn't have nothing. He was just that was his first day. He got escorted out. That was a mother and son crew. I'm not going to go further into that story, but his mom ended up getting fired about 3 weeks after that for something similar. That's the first situation. That is the person who is aggressively or actively stealing, right? This next scenario, this scenario, this is something that's pretty common where they're going to take and they're going to do it passively. The first situation, no problem, you just done. We'll fire you. You're out of here. This situation, it took a little bit of time to catch. So this building that we service is a huge building. This is probably one of my biggest buildings. Um, I have a really, 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 really good relationship with it's a Fortune 500 company. So it's not the owners. I don't know the owners, but I know the operations manager, I know the building managers, I know the maintenance managers, and we all have a really good relationship. So, and they are always have given us the benefit of the doubt, always. Like the operations manager's always been like super real cool, always giving us the benefit of the doubt. So she calls me one day. She's like, "Hey Marcus, everything is looking good. There's some areas that need to be a little bit more attention paid to, but for the most part everything's good. But the weirdest thing is, people are complaining that their food is missing, and they saying it's the janitors, and I'm like, you guys don't have proof. You can't say that it's the janitors. So I'm not saying it's you guys. It's probably not. Probably someone just. She always gives us a way out. And at this point, the cleaners who I have in there now, they're past training. They're done with training. Okay, this is a husband and wife. So she just like puts us on notice, but also like, I'm not accusing you guys of nothing. Don't worry about it. So on and so forth. 2 weeks later, I get the same phone call. Uh, month later, I get the same phone call. And finally, the phone call is like they kind of just stop for a while. This is the operations manager who's calling. And what can I say? Like, I'm not there. When I'm there, no one's stealing. What can I say? So I get a call one day um, from the operations manager boss. He's I think it's like the facilities manager or district manager. I forget his title, but I get a call from him, and he's like, "Hey man, what's going on?" I'm like, "Yeah, this is like 10 o'clock." He's like, 10 o'clock in the day. Like, I don't know why he's calling. So, we small talk for a minute. He's like, "Hey, why don't you go ahead and check your email? Who are these cleaners that you have in there?" And I tell him, I'm like, "What's going on?" He's sending me an email. First of all, it's him that's reaching out. So there's a problem. I mean, we're small talking like we would face to face, but my antennas are still up. Like I'm still kind of, you know, he's like, "Check your email." So I check my email, and she's like, "Yeah, this is what this isn't us. This isn't our security team, but this is what some of the workers did. They put cameras on their refrigerator just to see what would happen, and they got this dude. He was in there like, first of all, he's in the refrigerator. We're not even supposed to ever be in this refrigerator. He's in there with gloves on, and what they don't show on camera, he's in there like he went and made him a sandwich. He had the condiments, all types of stuff he had in there. So, it's funny now. I could laugh about it now, but it really wasn't funny then. So he's like, "Okay, Marcus, I know this isn't you, but we can't have this type of stuff going on. I'm trusting in you that you're going to get this taken care of as soon as possible." I said, "You know what?" I said, "It's already taken care of. Don't worry about it. They will never be step foot back into the building." So I went ahead, downloaded the pictures, had them meet us at that account um, about 30 minutes before they were actually supposed to be there. We got all the keys, everything back from them. Then I emailed them these pictures. Like, what can you say? What can you say about this? Like, this is You can't say anything. This is the passive thief. These are the ones who are coming in. Not only are you taking people's food, but I'm also getting complaints about different little things. I go inside the places and dust it the way it's supposed to. Vacuuming isn't getting done. Like these are the people who are slowly taken. I would have much rather had them just go in somebody's desk, take something, get caught, then we can get rid of them, rather than drag this thing on for months and months and months and months and months. So this is your passive thief, and I promise you, man, like you're gonna run across these situations. They're going to come up. They're gonna happen. I promise you. But the thing is that when they do happen, when they do present themselves, take action. Don't be slow to the draw. Make sure that you have a plan set up to go ahead and get these people replaced. But more important than all of that is really just keep a good relationship, keep a good, open, honest relationship with the staff that we're, or with the customers that you're serving. Um, I was just up in Seattle on Friday. I was in Seattle Friday, and I go and I meet with one of my existing clients. No problems. I just go and meet with him, and as soon as I walk in, he gets out of his chair, gives me his chair, and he goes and sits in the uncomfortable chair. And I'm like, damn. I said, this is going to be a long meeting. We were in there and we talked, but we're building rapport. We're getting a better understanding for each other. We talked for like 3 hours, and we talked about family, we talked about business, we talked about politics, we talked about everything. And it was just one of those things where it's like, you know what, if you know Seattle's traffic, like you don't want to be caught in that after 2 o'clock, 2:30. I didn't get out of there until like 3:30. It took me so long to get home, but even though it took me all that time to get home, to build up that relationship with the client, um, it's more valuable, right? Because in the long run, if something ever were to happen, if something comes up in this account, and it's a he has to make a decision based on whether or not they're going to keep us, and the deciding factor is how good of a relationship do I have with Marcus? I know the cleaners did what they did, but how is my relationship with him? Uh, we're gonna win because we our goal is to obviously, number one, go in and service these accounts. Know that things are going to happen. Thieves are going to come in, but we're looking to build our business and build good relationships. That's the biggest thing, right? But yeah, guys, that's it for today's video, man. Like I say, in the game of business, spectators are only going to watch hustlers actually get into the game so they can win. Guys, I'm always dropping jewels. Just make sure you're in position to pick them up. You do that by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Once again, my name is Marcus Crockett. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.